His brother Brendan is on the line now. Brendan, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. How are you this morning?
I'm okay. What's in your mind this morning?
Oh, look, total respect. It's been a difficult morning for all of us, especially myself, Mum and Dad. But, Anzac Day is a day that we've always held close to us, for all the fine men and women who have given their lives for this wonderful country that we live in. But today being the first Anzac Day since Cameron was killed has been really hit home and really opened the wounds up again. But we're extremely proud and very fortunate and humbled to be part of the Currumbin RSL Live this morning up here on the Gold Coast.
Brothers know each other, brothers talk a lot, brothers share secrets. Did you ever talk to Cameron about what he was doing and how he felt about it?
Look, I'd spoken to Cameron on a few different occasions, but at the same time, I totally respected the situation that the boys work in and the intense secrecy around their planning and different things that they may be involved in. But when Cameron was ready to talk, I was always there to listen a few things that I heard which I'll take with me to the grave, Neil. But I just let people out there know that it's been a very hard war for all of the Australians that have fought over there and fallen. But it's also about looking after these guys that are going to have some problems mentally in the upcoming years, and all I can do now is just continue to support those boys and as Cameron would want.
You make a very important point. I've talked particularly to Ben Roberts-Smith and Mark Donaldson about some things which I would never make public, and they were private discussions, and you're quite right to say you don't make those sort of things public. But do you feel that Cameron was ever, and I'm not sure with the guys I've talked to, but ever conscious of the threat to his own safety?
Yes, he was. These guys are in hot spots all the time. On a few different occasions, Cameron, told me he'd been involved in clearances and different missions where they have close calls. But Cameron was very aware of the job that they did and the dangers that come with that job. But at the same time, he always led from the front. He loved his team, and I guess at the end of the day, if anybody was going to be hit, Cameron would have preferred it was him and not one of his teammates.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. I was reading through his background again yesterday to refresh myself. Very good footballer. Probably injuries stopped him being drafted back in, I think, 99, was it? Drafted into the AFL. And it struck me just reading that, if he'd been drafted and become a footballer, he'd be with us now.
Well, Neil, look, that's crossed my mind too. Cameron was a very good football player, and look, these things do cross your mind. And but at the end of the day, things happen for reasons. Look, Cameron, he was very disappointed once he missed out on the draft. He was encouraged to play for one more season, and pretty much told that he would definitely be drafted. But he'd made his mind up, and he wanted to join defence and get into the elite Australian Special Forces. And look, once he'd made that decision, he just went 100% like he did in his football career and led from the front. And basically through his military career, followed on from football, Neil, and won a lot of awards and in leading and things like that. But a very humble man.
Must have been an extraordinary soldier, Medal of Gallantry, VC, and I read that he was the only soldier ever to break a bayonet in training. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, now, unfortunately, you didn't have the opportunity to meet Cameron in person, but if you would have had that opportunity, he's a little bit like Ben. He's a big man, and he was big built, and I can assure you that's a lot of force hitting a target to actually do something like that, and being the only man to actually, ever do that is an indication of his intent, even in training, about how well he wanted to do things. But I can assure you, Neil, none of the boys let him ever forget that moment.
Yeah, they like to stir it up. Look, it is a privilege to speak to you. I know you're a very private family. On this day, though, it's important that Australia understand what the family has been going through. These are real people. These aren't just statistics or names on a wall. These are real people we lose at war. You more than anybody in the country, you and your family are entitled to sort of send a message to the rest of the country on Anzac Day. What is it?
Well, my message is, look, basically just never forget. Every time it's the simple things in life when you spend quality time with your family, whether you've got young kids or you're elderly with grandkids, and you walk our beaches like we do up here in the Gold Coast, every time I walk now, I think especially of, the people that have fallen in all these conflicts over all these years. They've fallen for a reason, to defend our shores and to give us this wonderful place that we live in. And I can assure you that even to this moment, Neil, we're coming up to the 12-month anniversary on the 22nd of June for Cameron. The family has really struggled, particularly my mother and father. And look, we've got some hard yards behind, but the Australian public in general, a lot of people come up and they offer support, and it's that real Australian feeling, it just makes you proud to be an Australian. And today at the dawn service, there were so many children involved, and that's what it's about, Neil. And this is why we elected to permanently loan the War Memorial Cameron's original medals. His M4 rifle is there now. It's for education for the children that are coming up there. It's the parents' job to educate them and never to forget, why they've got it so good and why we live in such a wonderful place. But everyone, to every member, everyone who has fallen, of their family, I know how they feel, and we just thank every single one of them for what they've done over all the years. I just had the opportunity this morning to speak to a 94-year-old gentleman, and I had tears in the eye when I was speaking to him. He was just such a beautiful guy, and I thanked him. And I think that if you use the word thank you in the context of what it is, and you mean it, there's no stronger word to use, Neil.
You've done him proud. You and your parents have done him proud all the way through this, and you've just very much reinforced that. Brendan, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much, Neil, and thank you to all the listeners for their constant support. We greatly appreciate it.